Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Beretta 9mm USA here, and today's video is going to be a SIG trifecta covering 3 full-size SIG 45 ACP handguns. We've got two 220s and 2 different variants, the Legion model and an Extreme model that's more like a standard Nitron, but it has a couple elite style features on it, of course. And right here, the old discontinued Warhorse itself, the P227 full-size. Again, the big difference between that and these two right here is you're talking about the single stack versus a double stack style magazine. So the 220s take an 8-round flush fitting 45 ACP mag, and your 227 takes a 10-round magazine right there. I think this was made by Metgar for them, or maybe SIG made it in-house, who knows. Anyway, quality mags on both of them. In the past, of course, SIG has had some issues with the 220 mags, but I think that's pretty much all alleviated by now. Anyway, again, 227, very sought after pistol, was only produced for like 4 years or something like that, and then they discontinued it. It was pretty sad when they did that. All these pistols are double action, single action. By the way, this is rocking a DPM guide rod assembly, so a DPM Recoil Reduction guide rod system. If you guys are interested in picking up some guide rod assemblies for your pistols or anything else, go over to DPM Systems website. They have a lot of great stuff over there. Traditional double action, single action pistols, meaning that your first round is double action and then everything after that is single action, unless you run into an issue and then you can double strike, as it were. Double strike meaning, so you pull the trigger, of course, either in DA or SA, and then you can pull the trigger again from double action to try to get the round to go off that's in the chamber. Pretty nice. Gosh, what an amazing pistol. Again, all these pistols have aluminum alloy frames, so they're around 30 plus ounces. I can tell you for a fact the 220s weigh 30.4 ounces. I think this weighs like 31 or 32, the 227. Taking a look at these two pistols right here, they both feature SIG Light night sights. So you got that 3-dot sight picture profile with tritium vials on the Extreme model 220 and the 227. Beautiful 45 ACP pistols, no question about it. Here's the sight picture on the Legion pistols. You got the SIG X-ray sights, which again is a 3-dot profile, but the rear has some serrations and they're blacked out style tritium vials, unless you're, in the middle of the night. And then you see a 3-dot tritium night sight picture. You can see the wonderful front sight on the 220 Legion pistol. It's the green luminescent paint surrounding your tritium insert in the front. Wonderful sight picture on the Legion pistol here. My preferred. We'll go over the triggers now on all these because that's kind of important, and they all have different triggers in them. So the Legion pistol has the Gray Guns SRT style trigger, enhanced polished action, and the 227 has a traditional P-Series trigger in it. Nothing special done to this, it's just the old school traditional P-Series. So here's your break, up against the wall, and single action. Little bit of movement and then it hits the wall and broke. Reset is all the way out there. So that's the thing about a traditional P-Series gun, is the reset is going to be further out compared to an SRT short reset trigger from SIG. Again, just a tad bit of creep and then it's at the wall and it breaks. Double action is a little more stiff also on this pistol. I think it's like 12 pounds. Not bad though, consistent, I like that. It's actually a little more smoother and consistent compared to this 220 Extreme model that features the SRT trigger. Taking a look at the single action first, again, out the wall, a little bit of movement, it breaks. And here is the short reset trigger from SIG. Money! This trigger is so money and it doesn't even know it. Wonderful. Double action again, it's stiffer on this pistol compared to the 227. And here is the bona fide, I'm your #1 customer, 220 Legion. The best of the best of the best of the best, right? The 220 Legion with its Gray Guns trigger. A really amazing trigger pad, shoe to it. Absolutely love the feeling of this trigger. We're at the wall. Barely a little bit of movement, and it breaks. Here's the reset and that enhanced polish action, SRT. So good. And one more time. Double action, so smooth. 9 pounds. 9 pounds in double action, that's incredible. So smooth and consistent. It's like a Wilson Combat action tuned Beretta and how that feels. It's just so Good. All right, what else here? So taking a look at your standard SIG features versus the enhanced or elite style features on the extreme model. Again, front cocking serrations that you can see on the Legion pistol there, and on this extreme pistol, no front cocking serration. On that traditional SIG pattern slide, very clean. Again, running that DPM guide rod assembly in the 227. You have that front cocking serrations on your 220 Legion. The Legion is just fully loaded. It's got front strap checkering. You also did actually have front strap checkering on the 227 models when they were out and about. And again, checkering on the front of that trigger guard. Versus a traditional 220 model, you just got horizontal lines on that front of that trigger guard and on the front strap. Not bad, works good enough. But the specific extreme model has a pair of Crimson Trace laser grips. So that's what's going on there. Red, you're dead, right? Red Dead Redemption. I really love the ergonomics of all three of these pistols. The Crimson Trace grips feel pretty good in hand on the 220 Extreme, and the E2 style grips on the 227 feel phenomenal as well. Never had an issue with how these pistols feel in hand. It's good ergonomics all the way around. Taking a look at this, you can see again the traditional P-Series controls versus the minimized controls on the 220 Legion. Again, much smaller profile, and that's so that people didn't hold down the slide release or mess with the controls when they're shooting this in a traditional thumbs forward grip. Some people like that, some people don't like that about this pistol. Some people also ran into issues with trying to release the slide release by using it like this. I learned from continued use of the 220 Legion that it breaks in over time, the slide release, so if it's a little stiff at first, don't be worried about it. Take my word for it and Justin Opinion. He's had no issues after using his 220 for a while as far as his Legion 1. Was taking a look at the frames on these pistols. Really nice beveling work done on the 220. Not bad on the 227 as well. And how does the Extreme look with its Crimson Trace grips? Little to no beveling done on the SIG Extreme model, the 220. The 220 Legion, as you can tell. Just really well done, that beveling. Taking a look at this is kind of interesting. So you have a very nicely checkered magazine release on the 227 versus both of the 220s just being horizontal lines on the magazine release. Beautiful high undercut on that frame to the 227. Very, very reminiscent of the X5 undercut on the 220 Legion. Again, the 220 Legion is just fully outfitted. You got even checkering on the understrap of the trigger guard to help lock in your offhand into it right there when you're shooting. Or if you're a righty, of course, right there. Again, Legionized, absolutely wonderful. Gosh, this pistol is just amazing, the 220 Legion. If you guys don't have a top-of-the-line 45 ACP handgun, you want to get one of the absolute best that's on the market for less than $2,000, you can't go wrong with the 220 Legion, in my opinion. It's one of the best. And then, of course, if you put a DPM in it like I did, even better. So smooth, so silky. All right, wrapping this up, let's go ahead and showcase the triggers on these so you guys get another look at those. Go with the main warhorse here first. Double action, pulled a little hard on it, 9.7. 9.9, I'm pulling a little heavy on it. 9.4. There you go, 9 pounds. 9 pounds, 1 ounce on that pull. The SIG Extreme Elite style pistol. So it's got the SRT trigger and the enhancements on the front there as far as your front cocking serrations. Double action first. And 10 8.5. Again, 10.5 pound trigger, double action of that. Now here is the 227 full size. 10.11. 10.3. Single action on the 227. Ooh, heavier, 6.6. 6.1. So I think we're at a 6 pound trigger there on the 227. 220 Legion, single action. 4.8. Almost 4.9 on it. Extreme model. There you go. Almost 5 pounds. Again, super high quality P-Series pistols. If you're going to get a SIG handgun, These are the ones to get, in my opinion. I would stay away from all the problems that's going on with the P320 and the P365 and all that. If you're going to get a SIG handgun, just get a traditional P-Series old school style via a 228, 229, 227, 220, or a 226. You guys have a good one, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beretta 9mm USA channel for more content coming out soon. Peace, guys.